Hey guys, this is Reggie from ReginaldJennings.com. Just wanted to talk to you guys today about some of the work I've been doing in my area recently to help me generate a little extra money. Just want to first just let you guys know, back in about September, October, for a while now, I've been looking for different things online to make money online, and you've been hearing so much hype about all the different things about advertise on Facebook or put some videos together and get lots of money, and every hype product that you might have heard of at some point I may have tried one or the other. But during that time, probably about anywhere from the year 2007 to last year 2012, I've tried different things, had a little bit of success here, not much success. And of course, as Google and other search engines start to make their shifts and changes with from Google Penguin to Google, all the different algorithm changes that we're making, I had pretty much gotten to a predicament where I needed some one-on-one coaching. And after searching around or whatnot, I ended up finding David Boozer. I actually found David because at the time I was looking at the latest and greatest software that can get you 20,000 hits to your website overnight, pieces of software. And Dave had wrote actually a review on his website about it, as well as a video. And I ended up contacting him because at the time, I was working with some of the local businesses in my area, helping them just with their IT support in house, but also talk to them about their websites. And so I had a particular client at the time who needed a website set up, optimized, configured, and I've already put the site together. I had some basic things together, and I just needed someone to just look at everything and tell me exactly what changes I can make to really take their site to the next level. And so Dave, right off the rip, Dave, we talked probably about an hour on the phone. Now mind you, someone that at Dave's level of internet marketing, he could have easily charged me, I don't know, probably $500 an hour for the consultant that he was giving me on the website at the time. And free of charge, laid it all out, told me some of the things I can do. And then pretty much after that, the line of communication was open, where from that day I started to email him and ask different questions, and he was answering the questions, pretty much giving away the gift, and telling me some things that I can change. And then at one point, I decided to join his private training for just internet marketing as a whole, and really get some of the good stuff. So since then, that was back in September of 2012, and I worked with him all the way up to December, end of 2012. And I must say, that money that was spent was well worth it, because since then I took all the knowledge and pieces that I learned from Dave, and I applied it to a lot of these local businesses that are in need of websites and search engine marketing, and getting their brand established, and I've turned it into real money. Funny story, this past Easter, we had an Easter egg hunt in my backyard. We had noticed that there were several pieces of brick that was found in our yard, and my dad had said, "Oh, it looks like your chimney is leaning." So every day on our way to one of the local grocery stores, we would see a truck around the corner from our house, referencing chimney repairs, chimney maintenance, chimney sweeping. And I told my wife, I said, if this guy doesn't have a website, I'm not dealing with him. But my wife, said she had seen him a couple times working on some of the neighbor homes, and he had a very good decor with them, and she asked around. So I gave the guy a shot, came over, did his whole assessment, told us that our chimney needed to be repointed. And at that point, he gave us the quote, didn't flinch about it. It was a couple grand, a couple $1,000s. I had said, "Hey, do you have a website?" He said no. He said, he was listed in Google, he just doesn't know where. And so at that particular point, right away, I sat him down, I told him the basics, I showed him some basic items, just going to Google. I asked him what are some of his terms or what are some of his services. Quickly did a Google search for it and looked at the monthly hits on those keywords that he was, he wanted to be ranked for. Looked at the competition, all within 30 minutes. After that 30-minute conversation, a $3,000 project, of repointing our roof, putting a liner in, cleaning the chimney up, went from $3,000 to literally $500, because I told him to get him to where he needs to be, his website is going to cost him $2,500. So in that half an hour of working with him, I went from a $3,000 bill down to a $500 bill within an afternoon. And to me, it was a shocker because I've already had some success. I've done some local stuff for other clients, but it was at that particular point, and this was literally, like I said, this past Easter, it was like almost instantaneous. So I was really hyped after that actual encounter. So the next thing I did was, we were talking about, getting our roof replaced. And so, right again, I have a wood shingle roof. Anybody that knows roofing knows a wood shingle roof has to be completely torn down, rebuilt from scratch, new plywood, new shingles, the whole shebang. And the type of house that we own, it was running us just about $12,000. So I called the roofer, several roofers, did the same exact thing. I found two roofers, both gave me two different quotes, sat them down, asked them what are some of their services, quickly did a Google search while in front of them. I showed them that they are not listed here. I quickly analyzed and seen, based off of everything that Dave has showed me, where we can actually get them ranked fast and quick. And with little or no effort, a good solid piece of content, a good solid piece of video, making sure the social pages are set up correctly and branded correctly, we can get these guys, literally anywhere between 15 to 20 hours, depending on how much work you're putting into it. I can get them a full-blown site up, all their pages together, and once a week, 2 hours, 3 hours a week, just posting content in those areas, and boom, getting them ranked. And one of the guys were already paying Google $500 a month for one term. Now, I pretty much told him, hey, listen, for $3,500, I can get you listed for $5. And it's not $3,500 a month. It's $3,500 to get it set up and configured. Now, every month, if you pay me $200 after the fact, I can consistently make sure those rankings stay up. I can, based off the information you provide, I'll make sure I'll translate it into readable content and put it on your page and let people know who you are. Boom, there's another client. So don't think you can't do this. What Dave lays out is, literally a step-by-step, not really system, but a step-by-step process of not just, I need, 1 + 1 = 2. No, he actually takes the pieces of the pie and shows you how, from setting up your site, why do I set it up this way? Why do I make my titles this way? Why do I use these particular pictures? Why do I use this plugin versus not plugin? Why would I post it here versus there? Why would I name it this versus that? And he breaks it down to you. He has a lot of information. He's a jack of all trades. He openly admits that he's not a professional in all areas, but he knows a lot about a lot of little things, which makes a complete whole. So with that being said, I recommend Dave Boozer and his private training, his coaching, and any search engine marketing tools, tips that he recommends. I'm all over it. I'm all about it. Thank you, Dave, for changing my life. I appreciate it. And let's get this money. Take care.